Hello boys and girls, a very good evening and welcome to this live doubts clarification session on reasoning ability brought to you by Talent Sprint. I hope all of you are in good health and your preparation for the upcoming IBPS exams, the IBPS RRBs, IBPS clerks and IBPS PUs is in high gear. Well, I'm sure some of you must have already taken your IBPS RRB Officer Scale 1 exam today, right? You know that it was scheduled to start from today, the 9th of September, and I hope you have done well. Well, I have got some early insights on how the paper was, but I'm sure anyone who's taken the exam from this group will definitely like to share the feedback. So if you are the one who have taken the exam today, please tell us about how your exam was and how did you perform, so that it doesn't really help in any way as such, but then it'll be one curiosity that most of your fellow students will have, right? So if you have taken the exam today, please share your feedback and insights about how the paper was and how did you perform, right? And I think another piece of news that we have is this IBPS RRB exam has been cancelled in the state of Karnataka due to some issues going on there, right? Too many applicants is what we hear from other states. So that's something which cannot be helped out, right? We'll only have to wait and see what happens, right? How will the events take place going forward? But yeah, please share your feedback. And I can see a lot of you have joined the chat already, so good to see that. And for the benefit of those who have recently enrolled in our program, let me mention that this chat box which you see right beside the video screen can be used to interact with us during the live session. So if you have any queries about what is being discussed here or any questions relevant to what is being covered here, please feel free to post and I would love to address your concerns. So I can see a lot of you have joined the chat already, right? Preeti Kumari, Gauri Sharma, Ashok, Isha, Divya, then Rashmi, Naveen, Sagar Singh, Arun, Sandhya Rani, Vinod Kumar. Well, Vinod Kumar says attempted only 45 questions. Well, I am sure, Vinod, what you are trying to say is that you have solved only 45 questions. I am hoping that you have attempted more than 45 out of 80. Yeah. Then you have Pooja Goel, Abhishek, Maharna Purket. He says the exam was not good. Sneha says today's exam is easy, but I could attempt only 45. Purket attempted only 40. Krutin says easy, but again I could attempt only 40. Hitesh says easy, I have attempted 55. Arun has attempted 39 total questions, of which 23 are from reasoning. So obviously the rest of the questions, 16 questions, are from quantitative aptitude. So I think overall what I see here is the average number of questions that you guys have attempted or solved is around 40, right? Which is half of the number of questions. There were total 80 questions in two sections, right? 40 from quantitative aptitude and 40 from reasoning, and overall 45 minutes of time given to you. So looks like you have spent about 1 minute per question. You were able to solve about 40-45 questions in 45 minutes. Okay. Any more feedback there? Yeah. Gaurav has also taken the exam today, but he has not shared any feedback yet. Deepak says it was easy but tricky puzzles and calculative quant section. All right. We also have Nageshwar Rao, Malbika Mohanty, Nilab, Saket, right? Harshvardhan Reddy. He says exam is above moderate level and the circular arrangement questions in reasoning is more calculative, meaning more time consuming, right? Okay, so I would love to solve those questions, right? I'll wait for those questions to be posted in our discussion forum. I'm sure one or the other student will definitely post the RRB questions and we will take it up in the very next session after that. Yeah. Good. We also have Swami, Arpita Majumdar, Nilesh Chaudhary, who says he could attempt only 52. Yeah. Then we have Chaitanya, who's attempted 40. DK Singh, Aditya, Rajkumar, Aishwarya. Yeah. Aishwarya says I am from Karnataka and the exam is on 16th. Yeah. Then we have Mohit Mehta, John, and others there. Ravindra Kumar, Hitesh, and all of this. So good. I think many of you have attempted the exam today, taken the exam today, and clearly the average is close to 40. So I think 40 is the number of questions that most of you seem to have solved in those 45 minutes. Good. And the others who have their exam tomorrow, I would ideally suggest them not to be a part of this live session, right? I mean, if you have your RRB exam tomorrow, or for that matter any exam which is like in next 24 hours, you should not be preparing, in my view, right? I mean, cut your preparation completely and just relax, because it is very important for you to focus and be confident when you walk into the examination center, right? You have to keep yourselves really composed and calm during the examination, and that is not going to happen if you keep practicing till the last minute. So I think in the last 24 hours you should just give up everything, relax, think about what you're going to do in that like 1 hour or 45 minutes of exam, and just keep yourselves fully ready for that D-Day, right? For that particular time slot that you have. Okay, so I would repeat, if you have your exam tomorrow, which I'm sure many of you will have, ideally I would say you should not be participating in this session, because if you come across anything which you are not able to solve, or you find it tricky, then you may panic that I am not able to solve these questions, what is going to happen in my exam tomorrow. Well, it can also be helpful. I don't say that session will not be helpful, but why take chances? It is very important that you relax at this point of time, right? Anyway, the choice is yours. I wish you all the very best for your exam tomorrow, and I'm sure you guys will do well. My only piece of advice at this point of time is to relax, right? You have done enough, you have prepared enough, you have put in your hard work and efforts. Let the best persons win tomorrow. All right, so just give your best and come back. Leave it. I mean, there's nothing else in your control, right? So just give your best shot and come back. Whether you qualify or not, time will tell you. And if you don't qualify, there's one more round coming up, right? And there are other exams lined up. IBPS PO is there, IBPS clerks is there. So just relax. Okay. Harshvardhan Reddy, by the way, says, please solve today any circular arrangement question in which some people face center and some face outside. Well, I'll see if we have any such question listed out in our presentation today, where some are facing center and others are facing outside. Yeah. Sagar's exam is tomorrow. Amit says, I did 65 questions in RRB, which is good. 65 out of 80 is really good, Amit. I wish you the best. Now, continue your preparation for the other exams, right? Yashwant Kumar has put it very rightly. This is what I want you guys to tell me, right? Yashwant says that I have attempted 80 questions, solved 47. So I think you've got it right, Yashwant. I actually wanted to hear that you have attempted 80 questions, you've attempted 80 questions. Nobody had mentioned that so far. I mean, what you're talking about is the number of questions that you have solved, which is different from the number of questions that you actually attempt, right? Attempt should be 100% always. So rightly put by Yashwant here, attempted 80 and solved 47. And good luck to you, Yashwant. Yeah. All right. So I think we are good to start now. Like you all know, today's session is on reasoning ability, right? And what we do here is take up questions from the discussion forum and solve it here through this live stream. Okay. So I'll be presenting these questions. I've got a lot of questions here. I mean, reasoning is one topic where we've been getting more and more puzzles every time, more and more questions on syllogisms, and it's kind of getting a little difficult to answer all the questions in limited 2 hours of a session. So we have already taken measures, like I've mentioned. I've been talking about this last 2, 3, 4 sessions, but let me happily announce that yes, we can see that there are improvements in the discussion forum. More questions are getting answered now. We are answering your questions offline as well, right? Not just through the live class, but also offline. So keep posting your questions as and when you have a doubt in the respective discussion forum. And I'm sure very soon it will become even more quicker in terms of responses, right? The turnaround time for your questions will become much lesser than what it is currently today. And I also hope you have enjoyed your current affairs session today, which was done by GVK sir. This is the weekly current affairs session that we do on 8th, 9th and 16th and 22nd and 30th, like end of every week, not in terms of week, but every 7th day of the month. So I'm assuming you're also enjoying those sessions, because current affairs is really very important, right? And our objective of doing these weekly current affairs sessions is to bring the most important pieces of news to you guys, right? While we publish a daily current affairs handout, There is a lot of news items that get published in the newspapers. Attending these live sessions would ensure that you definitely know what are the most important items. All right, so please make sure that you join in these live sessions as well, and also watch the archives which get added to your account within 24 working hours. Okay. All right, so I think we are good to start. Let me quickly share the first question with you all. Right, like I said, we have got a lot of questions from different topics, which includes arrangements, puzzles, right, linear arrangements, circular arrangements, blood relations, coded inequalities, and various kind of stuff. So I would present the questions one after the other, and the first question is on your screens now. Sorry. Amit Negi says, I want SSC CGL tier 2 classes separate. I got 75 right and 6 wrong. Please provide classes because I paid for SSC CGL class. Well, Amit, don't worry. We will also have some live sessions for your tier 2 examination. Very soon we'll be publishing these calendars, both for IBPS PO as well as SSC CGL. For now, let's focus on this session, which is on reasoning ability. So here's a question from Sagar Singh. This is on coded inequalities. Coded inequalities, which is a very important topic in bank exams. So like you can see, statements have been given to you. In fact, only one statement has been given here in 3 different questions, and followed by 2 conclusions. So your job is to find out which of these conclusions logically follow the given statements, right? Which of these conclusions follow the given statements. So since there are 3 questions, I'll give you about 1 minute to try this, and your clock starts now. What is interesting is all these questions have got not equal to as one of the signs, right? Not equal to, which is not the usual case. So I'm sure you will find it interesting and different. 1 minute is what you have. Time starts now. Surya Prakash says, I am also done with my exam. Puzzles really hampered my performance. I think, Surya Prakash, I would not completely agree with you, because puzzles have hampered your performance because you have attempted those puzzles. You have tried solving those puzzles. If you had not tried those questions at all, if you skip it immediately, those will in fact add value to your performance. Okay, so answers have started coming in, neither for the first one, either or for the second one, and only 1 for the third one. And different types of answers here. Arun says the third question should be only 2 follows. Hitesh says the second one should be either 1 or 2. Deepak says the first question is neither, second question is neither, and the third one is either or, and so on. So let us wait for a few more seconds to get your answers in, and then we will discuss. We have Charan here who says the pic is not clear. Well, Charan, we are streaming this video in high quality, HD quality in fact. So there's no problem from our end. You should make sure that the internet connection on your side is stable. Yeah. Okay. While we have got enough answers now, I'm not reading out the answers, but I want to know how many of you have not been able to solve any of these questions. Very quickly mention how many of you have not been able to solve so that I can jump to the next one. Quick. How many of you have not been able to solve these questions? for me, more than the responses to these questions, what is important is what percentage of you are able to solve such questions, because that will help us decide what kind of content has to be added or discussed more and more through these live sessions. Got it? Okay, so Arun is struck. Swami says, I am new, so I cannot. Well, yes, if you are new, then it may be difficult for you. Sai Tej has also mentioned that he is not able to solve. Arpita Majumdar has not been able to solve. Good. So time is up. Let's discuss the solution now. Here we go. So the question is on your screens now. This was posted by Sagar Singh, and as you can see, this is from the topic of coded inequalities, right? So we have got 3 questions here, where each question has got a statement followed by 2 conclusions, right? Statement followed by 2 conclusions, statement and 2 conclusions. Our job here is to find out which of these 2 conclusions logically follow the given statements. All right. So read the statement. The first one, it says M is equal to N, which is not equal to O, which is not equal to P, which is equal to Q equal to R, less than S less than T. Now, the 2 conclusions given are N greater than Q and R greater than M. So we have to find out if N is definitely greater than Q or not. And similarly, R is definitely greater than M or not, right? These are conclusions, definite conclusions. So we have to check if these are true or false, if these conclusions are really true or false. How do we do that? Based on certain rules that we have discussed. I mean, if you have gone through the video of coded inequalities, you would know that there are 3 golden rules that we have discussed. So you have to just follow those rules and solve these questions. However, one interesting observation here is that the equation, the statement given to us, or the inequation given to us, has got this symbol which is not equal to. So how do we deal with this is very important, right? Now you know that when you are comparing 2 variables, let's say variable 1 with variable 2, what are the different types of relationships possible? There are only 3 types of relationships possible. What are they? The 2 variables can be equal. V1 can be equal to V2, V1 can be less than V2, or V1 can be greater than V2. These are the only 3 relationships that exist between any 2 variables. Like whenever you're comparing 2 values, whenever you compare 2 values, these are the only 3 results possible: equal, less than, or greater than. There is no other possibility. Yeah. So suppose when we say that V1 is not equal to V2, if this is not correct, then definitely either this or this is correct. If V1 is not less than V2, if V1 is not less than V2, if this is wrong, then either V1 is equal to V2 or V1 is greater than V2. These are the only 2 possibilities. Similarly, when we say V1 is not greater than V2, if this is wrong, third one is wrong. If V1 is not greater than V2, what are the possibilities? V1 can be equal to V2 or V1 can be less than V2. Either or. Either this is true or this is true. Yeah. And likewise, when we say V1 is not equal to V2, V1 is not equal to V2, when these 2 are not equal. When V1 is not equal to V2, the only possibility is that V1 is either less than V2 or V1 is greater than V2. So either this would be correct or this would be correct. All these are either or cases, either this or this, either this or this, either this or this. You're able to follow? So this is the basic understanding of coded inequalities, that there are only 3 comparisons possible between any 2 values, right? And when we know that any one of this is wrong, then either of the other 2 have to be correct. Yeah. Suppose if I say V1 is not less than V2 and V1 is not greater than V2. If both of these are wrong, then definitely V1 is equal to V2. If both of these are wrong, then definitely V1 is greater than V2. If first one and third one is wrong, then definitely V1 is less than V2. Yeah. So that's the understanding here. Now when you look at this equation, I mean, we know the rest of the stuff from our discussions in the coded inequalities videos, but if you look at this part of it, N is not equal to O. N is not equal to O means what? When you say N is not equal to O, it means N is either greater than O or N is less than O. These are the 2 possibilities. Similarly, O is not equal to P. O is not equal to P means what? O can be less than P or O can be greater than P. P is equal to Q. So these 2 can be interchanged. Q is also equal to R. These 2 can be interchanged. Or R can be replaced with P. See, whenever these 3 are equal, you can use, you can swap them. You can interchange their places. Likewise, when M is equal to N, I can put M in place of N or N in place of N, as the case may be. Right? And R is less than S, S is less than T. So if R is less than S, definitely Q is also less than S. P is also less than S, because all three are equal anyway. Yeah. So that's the understanding from the inequation. Yeah. Now when we say R is less than S, clearly it is given that R is less than S. So we don't really have to worry about what are the possibilities. But here it was given that N is not equal to O. So if N is not equal to O, N can be greater or N can be lesser. Similarly, when O is not equal to P, O can be lesser or O can be greater than P. Now look at the conclusion. The first one, it says N greater than Q. The first conclusion says N should be greater than Q. According to this conclusion, N is always greater than Q. Now, we have already discussed that P can be replaced with Q, right? P and Q can be interchanged. So I will only take, that relevant part of the question. Yeah. What is it? N is not equal to O. O is not equal to, instead of P, I'll write Q. Instead of P, I'll write Q. So N is not equal to O and O is not equal to P, but P is equal to Q. So we are replacing P with Q. So this is the statement now. This is the precise statement that we need to work on. And we have to establish what is the relationship between N and Q. Right? What is the relationship between N and Q? Now what happens? Try and understand. N can be less than O or N can be greater than O. And between O and Q, O can be less than Q or O can be greater than Q. You're able to follow? So between N and 2, there are two possibilities. Between O and Q are also, there are two possibilities. Now overall, when you combine, there are four possibilities. N less than O, O less than Q. N less than O, O greater than Q. N greater than O, O less than Q. N greater than O, O greater than Q. So if I combine all the four possibilities and try to find out the results, there are different types of results possible. Like for example, when you say N is less than O and O is less than Q, try to take the first case. N is less than O and O is less than Q. N less than O and O less than Q, which means what? N is less than Q. But when I say N is less than O and O is greater than Q, the relationship cannot be established, because then it becomes rule number 2 of coded inequalities, right? What is rule number 2 of coded inequalities? Whenever you have dissimilar inequalities between two variables, those two cannot be compared. So here we are saying N less than O, but O greater than Q, dissimilar inequalities. So N and Q cannot be compared. N and Q cannot be compared according to this one. When I take the third one, N greater than O, but O less than Q, again the same problem. N is greater than O, but O is less than Q, dissimilar inequalities. So I can say N cannot be compared with Q. And when I take the fourth one, N greater than O and O greater than Q. N greater than O, O greater than Q means what? N is greater than Q. So overall, the point is, when I look at the precise statement that I have to work on, I am getting different types of results. We can get N less than Q, we can get N greater than Q. And we also have this relationship, which means N is neither less than, N and Q cannot be compared, which means N can be, this means what? N can be less than Q, or N can be greater than Q, or N can be equal to Q. So overall, the point is, when you are dealing with such type of a case, where you have not equal to in between two variables, then there are multiple results possible. The conclusion says N is greater than Q. How can it definitely say N is greater than Q? N can be less also. We have discussed N can be less than Q. N can also be equal to Q. Right? These are the possibilities. But it says no, N is greater than Q. So this is wrong. See, N greater than Q is a possibility. It is possible. It is possible that N is greater than Q. See, it is possible. But is it definite? No. N can be less than Q also. N can be equal to Q also. So that is the reason the first conclusion is wrong. Right? First conclusion is wrong. Are you able to follow? The first conclusion is wrong. Now, look at second conclusion. R greater than M. Right? R greater than M. Now, R greater than M means what? Check again. Only look at R to M. Compare R to M. Now, we have already discussed, right? R, P and Q, all these three are equal. So to get the precise statement, what I can do is, see, M and N can be interchanged. And I'm trying to reduce the number of variables that you have to deal with. Like what we have done here, right? Only three variables, N, O, Q. And then try to find out the relationship between N and Q. So here also, we have to compare R with M. What I'll do is try to compare R with M with least number of variables in between them. So first of all, let us replace N with M. These two are interchangeable, right? So let's put M here. So M comes there in place of N. Right? N can be replaced with M. Now, N is not equal to O means M is not equal to O. O is not equal to P, but P is equal to Q and Q is equal to R. So I can replace P with R. So this is what we get. You're able to follow? M and N have been swapped. P and R have been swapped. So the relationship becomes M not equal to O not equal to R. Again the same problem. See, compare. There is no difference between the first and the second precise statements that we have got. Here it said N not equal to O, O not equal to Q. Here it said M not equal to O, O not equal to R. What is the conclusion? N and Q cannot be compared. N can be greater than Q, N can be less than Q, or N can be equal to Q. Here also, M can be greater than R, M can be less than R, or N can be equal to R. So basically, you can directly see, after discussing so much, all the possibilities here in the first case, I can now here directly say that M cannot be compared with R. M and R cannot be compared. The relationship between M and R cannot be established. M can be greater than R, M can be less than R, or M can be equal to R. All the three are possible. But what is given in the conclusion is that R is greater than M. No, R can be greater than M, but R can also be less than M. R can be equal to M. So that is the reason the second one also is wrong. You're able to follow? I'm hoping all of you followed that N greater than Q and R greater than M both are wrong conclusions. These cannot be concluded, right? These cannot be the conclusions because these are possible answers. N greater than Q is possible, but it is not definite. We are looking for definite conclusions, right? Now I can do one thing. I can I'm sure you have understood this whole process, that there are 4 different possibilities that we get. N less than O, O less than Q, N less than O, O greater than Q, N greater than O, O less than Q, and N greater than O, O greater than Q. Similarly, here also we'll get 4 different results. So it will all overall lead to no comparison between the 2 variables. We can also look at some numbers and understand this. Like for example, if I have to compare N, O, Q, right? There are different numbers that I can take. Like let's replace variables with numbers. It says N not equal to O not equal to Q. So for example, let's say I'll take N is equal to 3, 3 is not equal to 5, 5 is not equal to 7. So what is the result? We are trying to compare N with Q. So what do we get? N is equal to 3, Q is equal to 7. See, I have not gone against the statement, right? Statement is still correct. 3 is not equal to 5 and 5 is not equal to 7. So definitely I can say in this one that N is less than Q. 3 is less than 7. So N is less than Q. But suppose if I take N is equal to 4, O is equal to 7, and Q is equal to 2. What happens? 4 is not equal to 7, correct? 7 is not equal to 2, yes. But when I compare N with Q, what happens? N is equal to 4, Q is equal to 2, which means N is greater than Q. Likewise, can I say N is equal to, let's say 9, which is not equal to 6, and 6 is not equal to 9. So N is not equal to O, 9 is not equal to 6. O is not equal to Q, 6 is not equal to 9. But when I compare 9 with 9, what do I get? 9 is equal to 9, which means N is equal to Q. So from this I can say N is equal to Q. So the simple point is, when you have this kind of an inequation or equation, whatever you call it, between different variables, all the 3 results are possible. So you cannot conclude that N is greater than Q. N can be greater than Q, or N can be less than Q, or N can be equal to Q. Alright, so the answer for the first one should be neither 1 nor 2. Overall, the answer for the first one should be neither 1 nor 2, and all this is the explanation. This is such a long explanation because it is an explanation, right? It is not the solution. When you are solving it in the exam, you will cut down the number of steps that you put on paper, right? And you will not be doing all this drama in the exam. Fine. Let's look at the second one. The second question. Here another statement is given, right? What is the statement? S greater than T greater than U not equal to V not equal to W less than X less than Y. So S, T, U, V, W, X, Y are the different variables, and their relationship has been given in the statement. Now conclusion, U greater than W, compare U with W. Same problem, U with W. I know that U is not equal to V and V is not equal to W. So can I say U greater than W? No. U can be greater than W, U can be greater than W, or you can be less than W. U can be greater than W, you can be less than W, or I think you can also be equal to W. Right? What are the results here? U can be greater than W, U can be less than W, or you can be equal to W. So all 3 are possible. So is the first conclusion correct? U greater than W? No. Second one correct? U less than W? No. Because there are many other results possible. Even if I combine, I will not get the answer. Because what is the final answer? U should be greater or lesser or equal to W. Basically, the relationship cannot be established. Between U and W, the relationship cannot be established. So how can you say U is either greater or lesser? Right? Here also the answer should be neither. Like here we have said neither Neither 1 nor 2 is correct. Here also the answer should be neither 1 nor 2 is correct. I'm sure some of you may think that answer should be either or, because both less than and greater than are covered. So we can say u is either greater than or less than w. No, u can also be equal to w. We have discussed, right? 9 not equal to 6 and 6 is not equal to 9. In this case, what do we get? 9 is equal to 9. N is equal to q. So here also we can say u is equal to w. It's possible. It is possible that u is equal to w. So don't misunderstand that when both greater and lesser are given, we can mark the answer as either or. No, it's not either or. It is still neither, because equality is also a possible relationship between u and w. All right. And now the last one, the third question: r equal to s not equal to t, greater than u, greater than v, less than w, less than x. So r, s, t, u, v, w, x relationships have been given. Only one not equal to symbol. The first conclusion: v less than x. Very clear. Compare v with x. Rule number 2, right? Rule number 2 of coded inequalities. The v is less than w and w is less than x. So what are the inequalities between v and x? Less than and less than. So clearly v is less than x. Clearly v is less than x. That's the answer. Why do we even say v is greater than x? We know that v less than x is the correct answer. See, v is less than w and w is less than x. So it's obvious that v is less than x. Yes or no? The only definite relationship between v and x is v less than x. I mean, this is like standard question from coded inequalities based on one of those rules. So your answer for the third question should be that v less than x is correct. Only one is true. Only one. So first one is neither 1 nor 2. Second one is neither 1 nor 2. The third one is only 1. V greater than x is wrong. V has to be less than x. So these are the answers to these three questions. So I think what is important here is this not equal to symbol. And like we have discussed, when you have such a statement, or like this one, you should understand, or like this one, u less than u not equal to v not equal to w, the two variables cannot be compared at all. Alright, so before we move on to the next one, let me quickly take your feedback on this, if you have followed, or is there any confusion. Looks like there have been too many questions here on this one. Yeah. Okay, Sagar himself has posted some questions. Posted some comments there. He says in first, r is greater than or equal to m. Sorry, I have lost your comment, Sagar. Oh. Shilpi says, chill guys, please type correct questions so that we don't waste our. Wait, is the question wrong? Why are the questions wrong? Why do you think questions are wrong? Sagar Singh says the first one is not neither. The first one is not neither. Why? N greater than Q. In first, r is greater than equal to m, and in last, x is smaller than equal to v. Achha, in the first one you are saying r is greater than or equal to m. And in the last one, x is smaller than or equal to v. X is smaller than or equal to v. How can x be less than or equal to v? Equality does not exist at all, right? The last one is very simple. V is less than x. You are saying in the last one, x is smaller than or equal to v. No. How do you say x is smaller than or equal to v? Forget about the first one and second one. Last one, very clearly the part we have to consider is v less than w, w less than x. So v is less than x. But you are saying x is less than v or equal to v. How is that possible? Snigdha Rani says, Rama Lakshmi says, how come m is equal to r? Where do we say m is equal to r? I have explained you, right? With numbers I have explained you. How can m be equal to r? See, m is not equal to o, o is not equal to r. You have to consider two variables at a time. M is not equal to O, 9 is not equal to 6, O is not equal to R, 6 is not equal to 9. But 9 and 9 are equal, right? M and R can be equal. That is the reason I took numerical values. I knew that some of you guys will ask me that question, so I took numerical values to explain that to you. So Sagar, I think you only have got some confusion here. You have been posting some comments which I don't follow. Looks like you are giving me the right answers for these questions wherever you have seen it. But I don't think the answers that you're giving are correct. I mean, definitely third one there's no chance that you can say x is less than or equal to v. Nayan has said a plus b greater than c plus d, a minus e less than or equal to d, b greater than or equal to e minus d. These type of inequalities are trending nowadays. I think Nayan, a very interesting question, but my only request to you is post one such question in the chat and we will take it up. I mean, I'll also take it up as a part of your IBPSPO refresher if you say that these kind of questions are trending, but yeah, I would request you to post such questions in the chat. Charan says, please solve the circular arrangement that we got today in the RRB exam. Well, I hope somebody can post that circular arrangement quickly to me. I don't remember. I mean, I have not taken the exam, and even if I had taken it, I would not remember word to word question. So Sagar, you have to confirm what is the challenge. I am not sure if I can move to the next one, right? Are you clear with this? Did you all follow this? What is the confusion? Okay, Sagar says in first R is greater than or equal to M. R is greater than or equal to M. How will it be? I mean, Achha, in the conclusion R is greater than or equal to M. That's what you're saying? Uh-oh. So now I understand. So you are trying to tell me that the actual question has got R greater than or equal to M. I am assuming that you are saying the answer is that R is greater than or equal to M. But anyway, I think instead of changing the question now, you have understood, right? Even if it is R greater than or equal to M, our answer will be neither. Because R can be greater than M, R can be equal to M, or R can be less than M. Yeah? Yeah, so Sagar, now I have understood. Now I have understood that you are, so be a little explicit. No, I mean, all this while I was assuming that you are saying that the answer is R greater than or equal to M, or maybe the statement has got R greater than or equal to M. The conclusion should be R greater than or equal to M according to you. But even in that case, the answer will still remain neither. Neither one follows, not two follows. Yeah, Surya Prakash has finally told me that, sir, there is a typo in the question and Sagar is asking you to change the question. Sorry, I think we wasted so much of time. I mean, I wasted so much of time because I did not understand it clearly. Should we go for the next one now, if this is clear? Looks like Deepak has also posted an arrangement question in the chat here. 8 boxes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H are arranged from top to bottom and all that. Deepak posted in the forum. Okay, hold on. I think what I understand is the answer will change if it is R greater than or equal to M, because R and Q are equal and m and n are equal. So in the previous conclusion, I can replace n with m and I can replace q with r. So it will become m greater than r. In the second one, it becomes m less than r and m equal to r. So all three have been given, and hence the answer will be either or. Now I get you, yeah. Anyway, Sagar, I think we'll not go back to that. What we'll do is I'll take up such questions in your IBPS PO refresher and make it clear. The answer according to what has been posted here is correct, right? Nothing wrong with the answer here. Okay, let me just go to the next one now. In that case, the answer will be either or. You're right. Answer will be either or if second conclusion has got r greater than or equal to m. Because if you observe, while the different variables have been used in both the conclusions, overall we know that r is equal to q. So q in the first conclusion can be replaced with r, and m is equal to n. So n in the first conclusion can be replaced with m. So both the conclusions will be between m and q, and then it becomes either or case. Anyway, let me quickly move to the next one now without wasting any more time. The concept is very clear, I am sure. The next question on your screens now. This is also on syllogisms, was posted by Rashmi Nayak. You have 1 minute for this and your time starts now. Quick. Okay, answers have started coming in. I think most of you have said none. Naveen, Sheikh, Hazia, Balachandran, Pallavi Mishra says either one or two. I think she's still in the previous one. Then neither follows. Atish says neither follows. Vinod Kumar has got neither follows. Some of you said either A or B. Snigdha Pandey says either A or B. Now I know why Snigdha is saying either A or B here, because conclusion A is some D is not C and conclusion B some D is C. So some D is not C, some D is C, right? It is not a complementary pair. I have told this about 273 times so far. I am repeating myself. This will be the 274th time when I am telling you that some A's are B's and some A's are not B's does not make a complementary pair. I mean, even before I get into the solution, I want to make this point clear, because many of you have marked answer as either 1 or 2 or either A or B, right? Either A or B is not the correct answer, and it is a very, very important point that you all understand that does not make a complementary pair. Some A's are B's, some A's are not B's is not a complementary pair. There are only two complementary pairs when it comes to Silogs. Some A's are B, no A is B. This is the first pair. All A's are B's, some A's are not B's is the second pair, right? So all of you who have marked either 1 or 2 for this one are clearly going wrong in this basic concept of syllogism, right? And I know a lot of material is available outside, and many trainers say that some A's are B's and some A's are not B's is actually a complementary pair. But believe me, it does not make a complementary pair. The basic definition of complementary pair is what? The two conclusions cannot coexist. These cannot happen together. That is the reason if you look at the basic videos also, I mean the Silogs videos that we have done, I have told you that complementary pair is like head and tail. That's precisely the example I took, because head and tail cannot come together. It should either be heads or it should be tails. Or it's like win or lose, right? Let's say there is a definite result match where one team wins, the other team loses. So win and lose is like a complementary pair. Either India has won against Pakistan or India has lost against Pakistan. Both India has won against Pakistan and lost against Pakistan cannot happen. Both head and tail cannot happen. So these are called complementary. They have to complement each other. They are complete together. I mean, they cannot coexist. You understand? So here also, some D are C and some D are not C. While it looks like a complementary pair, it is not. Only two complementary pairs. Some A's are B's, no A is B. All A's are B's, some A is not B. Yeah? So please get this point clear in your head and don't commit that mistake, right? Go by the basic idea. Complementary pair means the two items cannot happen together. Now very clearly, some A's are B's and some A's are not B's can happen together, right? Some A's are B's and some A's are not B's. Some A's are B's and some A's are not B's can coexist. Like draw a Venn diagram, one circle overlapping with the other circle, A and B. So that overlapped portion shows that some A's are B's. The non-overlapped portion shows that some A's are not B's. When both of them are together, how can you say it's a complementary pair? So I'm sure all of you have changed your answer now. Yeah, it is not the right answer. A or B, either A or B is not the right answer. Alright, so let me present the question again and solve it for you, but get the point clear in your head. Some A's are B's and some A's are not B's is not a complementary pair. Very, very important. Let's look at the solution now. So here we go. The question was posted by Rashmi Nayak. There are statements and conclusions. Statements are some A is B, some A is C, some C is not D. And there are four conclusions here. Some D is not C, some D is C, some B is not C, all B is C. Yeah. So let's see. Now, draw the basic diagram, right? Basic diagram for the given statements. Right, so what's the basic diagram? Some A is B, some A is B, A and B, some A is B. There's an overlapping between A and B. Some A is C, some A is C, right? There's an overlapping between A and C as well. Some C is not D, some C is not D, some C is not D. So this is D. And some C is not D. We are referring to the, see, understand, when we say some A are B, let me highlight. Let me use different colors to show you what I am actually trying to explain here. Some A is B. This yellow highlighted statement here, some A is B, is represented in which part of the diagram? This part of the diagram. Some A is B. This overlapped region shows that some A is B. Now go to the next item. Like for example, look at some A is C. Some A is C. Where is this in the diagram? Some A is C. Some A is C is in this region. This region shows some A is C. I mean, not the external region. I'm only talking about the leaf part, right? Not the external part. Then look at the other part here. Some C is not D. Some C is not D. This blue statement, I mean statement highlighted in blue, some C is not D, is which part? It's not this overlap region. It is the external region of C. This region of C. This is the region where we are saying that some C is not D. You understand? This portion indicates that some C is not D. You have to be very clear. See, the point is, the basic confusion here is, I mean, the basic confusion that people usually have is that for both some A's are B's. I'm explaining a very important point again. Some A's are B's is drawn like this. Some A's are not B's. Some A's are not B's is also drawn in the same way, A and B. But the difference is when you say some A's are B's, you are referring to the overlapped region, this region, right? And when you say some A's are not B's, you are referring to those A's which are not B's, these external A's, not the A's which are overlapping with B's. So you have to get this difference clearly. So some A is B, this overlap region, some A is C, this overlap region, some C is not D, this overlap region. I mean this outside region of C. And this is the basic diagram. There are other possible ways of drawing the diagram. You understand? There are different ways of drawing the diagram. We are considering the basic one here, which involves minimum overlapping. Now let's look at the conclusions. Some D is not C. Some D is not C. Well, it is true. If you look at the basic diagram, some D is not C. This outside D I can say is not C. Right? These D's which are outside are not C's. So some D is not C, looks like it is true. I can take some of these D's and say these D's are not C's. But will it always be true? Will it always be true? No. Why will it not be true always? I'll explain you. Only look at this part. Some C is not D. Possible ways of drawing the diagram. I'm not explaining some A is B and some A is C. I'm only looking at possible ways of drawing the last statement. Possible diagrams for some C is not D. What you have seen here is the basic diagram for some C is not D. This is the basic way of drawing some C is not D. But there are other ways of drawing some C is not D. How is that? This is D and this is C. And this also is possible. C and D. Let me explain you using the coloring scheme that we have followed earlier, right? Some C is not D. In this case, see, this is the basic diagram. In the basic diagram, the outside region of C. In fact, this also is that C which is not D. You understand? In the possible diagram here, some C is not D. Which C is not D? This outside C is not D. Feels like going back to those painting days. Some C is not D. Right? This outside C is not D. And in the second possible diagram that we have drawn, which C are not D? The whole region of C is not D. So these are the possible ways of drawing some C are not D. There are different ways of drawing some C is not D. What we have considered in the basic diagram is the basic one. But these are the possible diagrams. Now try to look at the conclusions. Some D is not C. Well, some D is not C is correct. It satisfies the basic diagram. These D's are not C's. But will it always be true? No. If I draw some D are not, I mean if I draw D and C in this fashion with whatever A and B surrounding it, I mean A can be drawn overlapping with C and then B can be drawn overlapping with A. But the point is, in this case, all the D's are C. In this case, what happens? You see that all the D's are inside C. So can you say some D is not C? No. All the D's are inside C. So how can you say some D is not C? So the first one is wrong. The first conclusion does not follow. It follows the basic diagram, but it fails in the possible diagram. Now go to the second conclusion. Some D is C. Well, again, if I look at the basic diagram, some D is C. This region indicates that some D is C. Yes or no? This region in here indicates that some D is C. This dotted region. So it satisfies the basic diagram, but will it always satisfy? No. If I draw C and D in this fashion, which is a possible way of drawing some C is not D, I find that no D is C. D and C do not overlap at all. So when D and C do not overlap at all, how can I say some D is C? Right? So some D is C again satisfies the basic diagram. Some D is C satisfies the basic diagram, but it fails in the possible diagram. It fails in the possible diagram. Hence, this also is wrong. Remember, a conclusion should not only satisfy the basic diagram, but also all the possible diagrams. Both the conclusions here have cleared the basic diagrams, but fails in the possible diagram, right? But fail in the possible diagrams. Now, having independently checked A and B, let me also tell you that the combination also is incorrect. Like I'm sure many of you will have this understanding that the first conclusion says some D is not C. Second conclusion says some D is C. So maybe it makes a either or case. It makes a complementary pair. Some D is not C, some D is C. Does it make a complementary pair? No. This is not a complementary pair. So don't mark your answer as either A or C. Either A or B. You getting it? Don't say that the answer is either A or B. Either A or B is the wrong answer. Either A or B is the Either A or B is the wrong answer. You're able to follow? Because very important, note this. Some X R Y and some, there's some problem with the pen tool. Some X R Y and some X are not Y. Some X are Y, some X are not Y is in bold letters. not a complementary pair. You understand? Some x are y and some x are not y is not a complementary pair. So A or B, either A or B is the wrong answer, if at all you are thinking that. Now go to the third conclusion, conclusion number C. Conclusion number C. Right? Some B is not C. Now when you look at the basic diagram, some B is not C again appears to be true. Some B is not C. I mean, we can take some of these B's and say these B's are not C's. Sorry. Right, I can take some of these B's and say these B's are not C. Some B is not C, right? Some B is not C. I'm so sorry guys, just give me some time. Right, I can choose some of these B's and say that some B is not C. But will it always be true? No. Because I can think of a possible diagram. See, the possible way of drawing this particular statement here is this. Some B is not C. The possible, see, when you look at, I mean, of course, the statement given is some B is not C here, but some B is, sorry, not this one. I'm referring to the conclusions. I should check the statements, right? What were the two statements? The first statement was some A is B. The second statement is some A is C. So what's the possible way of drawing this? What is the possible way of drawing it is some A is B and some A is C. I can also draw it in this way, where A, B and C, all three are equal. Sorry again. Right? So some A is B, some A is C. All three of them can be represented by the same circle. This is a possible way of drawing it. What we have drawn here is a basic diagram. Minimum overlapping. But this is also one way of drawing some A is B and some A is C. So some A is B you can see and some A is C, where B and C also become equal. So if this is a possible way of drawing it, some B is not C becomes false. Some B is not C becomes false. You understand? Some B is not C, some B is not C becomes false, because all the B's are C's. If all the B's are C's, how can you say some B is not C? Yes or no? So some B is not C is a wrong conclusion, because it satisfies the basic diagram but it fails in the possible diagram. Now look at the last conclusion. All B is C. All B is C. All B is C. When I look at the basic diagram, all B is C is wrong, because B and C do not overlap at all. And when B and C do not overlap at all, how can we say all B is C? So this conclusion fails. This conclusion fails. This conclusion directly fails in the basic diagram, right? Remember, if you observe, A cleared the basic diagram but failed in the possible diagram. B also cleared the basic diagram but failed in the possible diagram. C cleared the basic diagram but failed in the possible diagram. But D directly fails in the basic diagram itself. However, when I look at C and D together, does it make a complementary pair? Yes. Some B is not C and all B is C is a complementary pair. Some B is not C and all B is C is a complementary pair. You understand? Some B is not C and all B is C is a complementary pair. So any type of diagram when you draw, I mean, whether you take the basic diagram or the possible diagram, you'll always find that either some B's are not C's or all the B's are C's. Any diagram that you draw. Like for example, in the basic diagram, some B is not C is true. But in the possible diagram, it fails. It is false. However, all B is C is false in the basic diagram but clears the possible diagram. You are able to follow? You understand? C and D. I am talking about C and D. Let me clear all this stuff so that I get some space to write. Right? And I'm clearing these possible diagrams that we have drawn for A and B. Just a second. Yeah. So if you look at C and D, cases C and D, there's a basic diagram. Sorry guys. And there is a possible diagram. I'm so sorry about this technical glitches that we are facing today. So there's a basic diagram, there's a possible diagram. Now what happens? You look at conclusion C. Does it clear the basic diagram? Some B is not C. Some B is not C. Yes. True. It follows the basic diagram. But some B is not C fails in the possible diagram. But conclusion D, all B is C. All B is C fails in the basic diagram. But all B is C clears the possible diagram. So this makes a complementary pair. So your answer should be either C or D is true. A is false, B is false, C is false, D is also false, but either C or D is true. So your final answer to this question should be either C or D follows. Either C or D follows. Either C or D follows. I'm so sorry about that problem that we faced. I think I was in the middle of the question, so I had no choice but to complete it. I'll get this fixed immediately. But yeah, I think overall it was a very interesting question, important question, and like I can see, most of you made a mistake. Most of you had said either A or B. Either A or B is wrong. The answer should be either C or D. Either C or D follows. So is this clear to all of you? Can we go to the next question now? Amit Negi says, I got the right answer but changed it due to peer pressure. Yeah, which is a problem, which shows that you're not very confident about your solutions. Okay, so I can see that many of you have confirmed. If you are confused or if you are not able to follow, please post your question immediately so that I can take it up before I move to the next one. Isha has followed, Arun has followed, Nilab, Neeraj, Ankita, yeah. Nageshwar Rao says he's confused. Nageshwar, just by telling confused, I'll not be able to help you. You have to tell me what exactly is the confusion. But anyway, watch the video, I'm sure you will be able to follow. First of all, you have to understand the basic concepts of syllogisms very clearly, and only then you should try it out. So what I'll do is I'll now present the next question to you. Nageshwar Rao, so this video will get added to your account by Monday evening. Watch this video once again and I'm sure you'll be able to follow it. Let me move to the next question now. And I'll leave you with this question for 5 minutes. Meanwhile, we'll also try to fix the problem that we have with this tool here. The question on your screens now. So this was posted by Sagar Singh. It says study the following information to answer the given questions. So this is the data. 8 students, J, K, L, M, N, X, Y and Z are sitting around a square table in such a way that 4 of them sit at 4 corners while 4 sit in the middle of each of the 4 sides. The one who sits at the 4 corners faces the outside, the center, and the others face the center. Okay, so very interesting question. Square arrangement, square table arrangement where there are 8 persons. See, whether the table is square in shape or circular in shape does not matter. The rule remains the same. When a person is facing center, left is clockwise, right is anti-clockwise. When the person is facing outwards, left is anti-clockwise and right is clockwise. Right? So this is the question. Looks like simple one. I mean, there are only 3 or 4 statements. So I will leave you with this for 5 minutes. All of you try it out and then we will discuss the solution. Okay? All right, guys, I think the time is up. Looks like many of you have been able to solve it. And meanwhile, I would, yeah, we can start taking it up in one more minute, but I'm sure many of you are in the middle. I mean, most of you are in the middle of the solution. So I would give you like maybe one more minute to try this out, because only Pallavi Mishra, Ankita Sharma, Isha, Sheikh Hazia and Pooja and Balchandran have mentioned that they have done. So only 6 of you have completed, others are still trying. And I want you guys to try it yourself and get the solutions. So I'll leave you with this for maybe another minute or so. Try it out and then we will discuss the solution very quickly. And I would also like to mention that I've just checked with the team, the content support team that we have, and I was assuming that they have copied the coded inequalities question wrongly, but looks like Sagar had posted the wrong question in the discussion forum. So Sagar, I mean, many of you were requesting me that I should be looking at the chat while answering the questions, while solving the questions, so that time gets saved. But I would request you guys to just check your question before you post it, so that we don't waste our precious time here. All right? You have posted one wrong question or incomplete question in the forum, and now everything else becomes a mess, right? The whole solution took so much of time. So my humble request to all of you, please verify the question once you have posted it. Just check word to word if it is in the right, in the right frame or not. Others who have not been able to solve it or who are still trying it out, it will be great if you can keep mentioning your status, updating your status here, that whether you have done it or you got stuck or you're not able to crack it, so that it gives me some idea about how easy or difficult you find the question to be, right? I can see that some of you have completed. Malbika Mohanty has just mentioned that it is done. Hitesh has done it. Rajan, Preeti Kumari, Sandeep, all these guys have done, but what is the status of others? Done. All right, so let's take it up. I think I've given you enough time. Glad to see that Anjaney, Harita and Deepak, Sneha and others have also done it, right? Shri Harika, Vasant, Sandeep and others. Swaroop also has got the answer. So let me also try it out now. I have not tried it yet. Let's see if we can crack it. Here we go. So this question was posted by Sagar Singh. It says study the following information to answer the given questions. So this looks to be a question based on arrangement. What does it say? 8 students J, K, L, M, N, X, Y and Z are sitting around a square table in such a way that in such a way that 4 of them sit at 4 corners while 4 sit in the middle of each of the 4 sides. Right? So basically there are 8 students J, K, L, M, N, X, Y and Z who are sitting around a square table. Now see, a square table or a circular table doesn't really matter because both are closed loops. But here what happens is there are 8 people. Now their positioning is different in terms of either they are sitting at the corners or they are sitting in the middle of each of the 4 sides. So 4 of them sit at the 4 corners and the other 4 sit in the middle of each of the 4 sides. You getting it? So this way there is a difference in circular table and square table, but otherwise when there is no difference in terms of corner or the middle, then square table is also like a circular table. You understand? The rule remains the same. When a person is facing the center, whether it is a circular table or square table, for a center facing person, left is always clockwise, right is anti-clockwise. And for an outward facing person, whether he is seated on a circular table or square table, for an outward facing person, left is always anti-clockwise and right is clockwise. You have to keep that in mind. Yeah. So I think overall 8 persons to be arranged on a square table. 4 of them sit at 4 corners and 4 of them on the 4 sides. Now, the one who sits at the 4 corners faces outside. So more complexity now. The one who sits at the 4 corners, people sitting at the corners face outside. Outside the center, right? Face outside the center. Face outside the center. And the others face the center. Others face the center. So this is a mixed arrangement. 4 of them are facing center, 4 are facing outwards. Which 4 are facing center? The people who are sitting on the sides are facing center. And which 4 are facing outwards? The people who are sitting at the 4 corners are facing outwards. Right? So if you try and envisage, let's say this is the square table. This is square table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the 8 positions. Now clearly people who sit at 4 corners face outside. So people at the 4 corners face outside. These 4 are facing outside. People who are at the sides, see, others are facing the center means what? The side persons are facing center. So people who are sitting at the sides are facing the center. So this is how the arrangement is. So for these 4 guys who are sitting at the sides and facing the center, left will be clockwise, right will be anti-clockwise. For the 4 guys who are sitting at the corners and facing outwards, left will be anti-clockwise and right will be clockwise. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So I think up to this point, what we have is just the data of 8 people and their positioning. Now comes the clues. There are only 4 or 5 clues here, so it looks like it can get a little complex because less number of clues means it is going to be a little complex to complete it. Let's see what are the clues given to us. So the first point says J sits 4th to the right of X. J sits 4th to the right of X. Now the biggest question that we will have in mind now is X facing the center or X facing outwards? Because see, in a circular arrangement, we can start from wherever we want. So in a square arrangement also we can start from wherever we want. But here there is a difference. I cannot start from any point on the square table because not all the persons are facing center. And not all the persons are facing outwards. If all of them are facing center or all of them are facing outwards, I can start from wherever I want. And I can put X in one of the positions and accordingly take the position of J. But here, there are some people facing center and some people who are facing outwards. So it is important for me to know, is X facing center or outwards? Based on that only, I'll be able to do the arrangement. Yeah. So while there are a lot of similarities between circular arrangement or a square arrangement, here there's a difference since it is a mixed case. Some people face center, some people face outwards. Okay. So J sits 4 to the right of X. There are 2 possibilities. If X is facing center, J is 4 to the right of X, which means J will become opposite to X. Or if X is facing outwards, again, in that case also J will become opposite to X. See, when there are 8 persons, right? When there are 8 persons, and when you say one person is fourth to the right of the other person, obviously these two persons will be opposite to each other. Like for example, let's assume x is seated here. Where will j come? 4 to the right of x. Now x is facing center, right? X is facing the center. So right is anti-clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4. J would come here. Opposite, right? Suppose x is facing outwards in this position. Now j sits 4 to the right of x. Right of x in this case would be clockwise. So 1, 2, 3, 4. J would come here. So either j dash x dash is the positions or x and j is the positions. But what you see in both the cases is they are quite opposite to each other. The two persons are facing opposite to each other. I mean sitting opposite to each other. So when you say j is 4 to the right of x, either both of them are facing center and opposite to each other, or both of them are facing outwards and opposite to each other. So there are two possibilities basically. When I look at the first statement, there are two possibilities, either this or this. Now I think one easy way to do the arrangement is to take center facing in one case, outward facing in the other case for j and x. But before we do that, let me also read the other statements and see is there a better way of starting the solution. See, it's very important that you start with the right statement. Just because this is the first statement does not mean that you immediately mark it on the table. Try to find out if we have something better than that. Yeah. So look at this one now. Neither m nor z is an immediate neighbor of j. Okay, this can be connected to the previous statement. M sits third to the right of z, who sits in front of k. M sits third to the right of z, who sits in front of k. Okay. L sits corner side of the table, who is not the immediate neighbor of m. L is not the immediate neighbor of m. Neither j nor x is a neighbor of y. So I think lot of data with respect to j and x. See, j and x are available here. In the second statement also he's talking about j. In the last statement also he's talking about j or x. So I think we better complete with respect to j and x, right? Start with j and x. So what I will do is first of all draw two tables. Let me take two cases. See what happens. So 4 center facing positions, 4 outward facing positions. Corners are outwards always, centers are, sides are inwards. According to this data. So this is case 1 and this is case 2. Now let's try it out. First statement, j sits 4 to the right of x. We have already understood that when one person is sitting 4 to the right of the other person, the two persons are opposite to each other. So there are two possibilities here, either both of them are facing center. So let's assume x is seated here. So where will j come? J will come here. In the other case, let's assume x is seated here. Where would j come? All right. I'm really sorry, guys. Today has been a bad session so far, I would say, because there have been a lot of technical issues, unexpected ones, right? I mean, we never know what would happen, right? So we have moved to a different studio, right? I've changed the studio. If you can check it with the help of the background, right? The studio has been changed, and I hope things will work properly now. We have very limited time. It's already about 7:30, so we just have about half an hour, 45 minutes. Let's solve a few more questions, and maybe we'll spend some more time in the next session onwards and cover it up. No audio. Isha has just mentioned no audio. I hope the audio is working fine. Audible now? I hope the audio is clear to all of you. Yeah, it's fine, right? Yeah, so basically the point is we have changed the complete setup, moved into a different studio, and I hope things will go fine now. I'll present the question quickly, the one that we were solving on square table arrangement. I'll have to restart the solution because whatever I had done has already been lost. Okay, so let me quickly start with the solution for the question that we were in when we got stuck, right? Here we go. So here's the question. This was posted by Sagar Singh, right? It says study the following information to answer the given questions. So it looks to be an arrangement based question. What does it say? 8 students J, K, L, M, N, X, Y and Z are sitting around a square table in such a way that 4 of them sit at 4 corners while 4 sit in the middle of each of the 4 sides. Right? So basically we have got 8 students J, K, L, M, N, X, Y and Z who are sitting around a square table. There is a square table and they are seated in such a way that 4 of them sit at the 4 corners. See, the table will have 4 corners. So 4 of them sit at the 4 corners while the other 4 sit in the middle of each of the 4 sides. Middle of each of the 4 sides. Right? So if we try and envisage the table, it would be like this. There is this square table, let's say. Yeah, so there are 8 positions, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So 4 corner positions and 4 side positions. Yeah, middle of the sides. Now look at the next point. It says the one who sits at the 4 corners, those who are sitting at the 4 corners, the one who sits at the 4 corners faces outside the center. He faces outside the center. So people who are sitting at the corners, 4 corners, face outside the center. Outside, outside, outside and outside. And others face the center. Others face the center. So others meaning these other 4 guys face the center. So this is going to be a complex arrangement because, you know, first of all it's a square table. There are corner positions and there are side positions. Then over that we have got a mixed arrangement here, right? Some of them are facing center. 4 of them are facing center and 4 are facing outwards. Right? So that adds to the complexity, right? Is it audible now? I'm sorry, I'm really sorry about this whole goof up that we have had so far today. I think once again the audio and video stream both were lost. In fact, the video also was shut at our end. You would not know because the screen was being shared. But is it audible now? I think we'll have to start over once again. Disappointing. I mean, really disappointing, and sincere apologies for the inconvenience caused. Yeah, and I think I should keep looking at the chat more often. I got so engrossed in the solution there that I was not focusing on the chat. I'm sorry about that. Can we start now? Yeah, we'll finish the puzzle. Suresh, don't worry, we'll finish the puzzle. You just have to confirm if you can start again. Should we start? All right, so here we go. The question is on your screens now, posted by Sagar Singh, and it says study the following information to answer the given questions. What is the information here? 8 students J, K, L, M, N, X, Y and Z are sitting around a square table in such a way that 4 of them sit at 4 corners while 4 sit in the middle of each of the 4 sides. So basically it says that there are 8 students J, K, L, M, N, X, Y and Z, right? J, K, L, M, N, X, Y and Z who are sitting around a square table. There's a square table here in such a way that 4 of them sit at 4 corners while the other 4 sit in the middle of each of the 4 sides. Middle of each of the 4 sides. You understand? So basically there's a square table. There's a square table where there are 8 positions. What are the 8 positions? 4 positions are in the middle of each of the sides. So this is the side, middle of that side, middle of that side. This is the side, middle of that side, and so on. And then there are 4 corners. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. So these are the 8 positions. So 4 of them sit at the 4 corners and the other 4 sit in the middle of these sides. The one who sits at the 4 corners faces the outside. The one who sits at the 4 corners faces the outside. So those who sit at the 4 corners, 1, 2, 3 and 4 guys, these 4 guys face outside. So corner guys are facing outside the center, and others face the center, So basically more complexity in the question now. It is not an arrangement where all of them are facing center or all of them are facing outwards. Right? Here some are facing center, others are facing outwards. Right? 4 of them are facing center. Which 4 are facing center? The 4 who are sitting at the 4 corners. Sorry, which 4 are facing outwards? The guys who are facing the guys who are sitting at the corners. So these are the guys who are sitting at the corners. They are all facing outwards. 1, 2, 3 and 4. All these 4 guys are facing outwards. And others face the center. The guys who are sitting on the sides are facing the center. Right? So this is how the square table would look like. 8 positions, 4 at the 4 corners, 4 on the middle of each of the sides. The guys who are sitting at the corners are facing outwards. The guys who are sitting in the middle of the sides are facing inwards. Right? And remember, irrespective of whether the table is circular or square or triangular or any shape there, when a person is facing the center, left is always clockwise, right is anti-clockwise. And when the person is facing outwards, left is anti-clockwise and right is clockwise. So you have to be very clear with the direction sense. We have discussed this in the video of circular arrangements, the direction sense, which is very, very important for you to solve these questions. Alright, so this is how the typical table is going to look like. Now we have to mark all the 8 persons here. We have to arrange the 8 persons on this table. So let's look at the data now. Right? It says J sits 4th to the right of X. J sits 4th to the right of X. Now that's the first statement. J sits 4th to the right of X. Now the point is, see, in case of circular arrangements, we have discussed that we can start from wherever we want on the circle. Similarly, in case of a square arrangement also, you can start from wherever you want on the square. But then the problem here is that some persons are facing center and others are facing outwards. See, if all the persons are facing center in a circular table or all the persons are facing outwards on a circular table, you can start from wherever you want and complete the marking. But when there is a mixed arrangement like this, some facing center, others facing outwards. You cannot start from wherever you like. Because if you look at the first statement, it says J sits fourth to the right of X. So the immediate question that you must get is X facing the center or outwards? I cannot decide what position should I take for X. Should I take X at the corner of the table, or should I take X at the center of the table? I mean on the sides of the table. That is not known to us. You're able to follow. Depending on that, we can mark the position of J. If all were facing center or all were facing outwards, then it would have been a different case. But here you have to be careful. So J sits fourth to the right of X. Important statement, but I think we will have two possibilities. One possibility where X is facing center, and the other possibility where X is facing outwards. However, one point that you all need to understand is, he says J sits fourth to the right of X. Remember, in an 8-person arrangement around a circular table or a square table, when one person is fourth to the right or fourth to the left of the other person, these two persons are opposite to each other. You're able to follow. So you must be very clear that if X is in this position, J will be in the opposite position. If X is in this position, J would be in the other opposite position. Right? When one person is fourth to the right of the other person, when there are total 8 students, there are 8 persons, they have to be opposite. They are seated opposite to each other. So maybe if you want, you can start with this statement itself, but remember there will be two possibilities: center, corners, or middle of the sides. So you have to consider both the possibilities, or see if there is a better statement available. So let me read the next points and check if we have something better than this. Neither M nor Z is an immediate neighbor of J. No, this also is connected to the previous statement. M sits third to the right of Z, who sits in front of K. This also is not very good point, right? M sits third to the right of Z. Again the question will be, is Z facing center or Z facing outwards? Then L sits on the corner side of the table. L sits on the corner side of the table. There are 4 possibilities. Because there are 4 corners, there are 4 possibilities, and not very useful in my view. L sits on the corner side of the table, who is not the immediate neighbor of M. He is not the immediate neighbor of M. L sits on the corner and he is not the immediate neighbor of M. Fine. Neither J nor X is the neighbor of Y. So I think we are better off starting with the first statement itself. J sits fourth to the right of X. Because J and X have been used multiple times. J and X have been used here. J has also been used here. Yeah. So let me do one thing. I'll draw one more table, similar table here, and mark the positions, because we are getting 2 cases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is case 1 and this is case 2. So what do I do? Look at the first statement. J sits fourth to the right of X. Let's assume X is facing center and X is on this side. I mean, any side does not matter. All the 4 sides are same in that way. Only thing is X facing center or outwards? So either X is facing center or X is facing outwards. Let's say X is facing outwards in this case. So in case 1, we have considered X to be facing center, and in case 2, we have considered X to be facing outwards. So read the data, read the point. J sits fourth to the right of X. J sits fourth to the right of X. Now right of X, X is facing center, right is anti-clockwise. First, second, third, fourth, J comes here. We have already discussed J and X will be opposite. In this case, what happens? X is facing outwards. Right of X will be clockwise. So J sits 4 to the right of X. 1, 2, 3, 4. J would come here. You're able to follow? J sits 4 to the right of X. First, second, third, fourth. J would come here. So that's done. First point is done. Now, neither M nor Z is an immediate neighbor of J. Neither M nor Z is an immediate neighbor of J. So this also I think can be put up on the table, right? Neither M nor Z is an immediate neighbor of J. So M and Z cannot come here. They are not the neighbors of J. M and Z cannot come here because these are neighboring positions of J. Similarly here, M and Z cannot come in these 2 positions because they are not the neighbor of J. M and Z are not the neighbor of J. Then M sits third to the right of Z, who sits in front of K. So I think this is one statement which can be useful. We have to try out all the possibilities. M sits third to the right of Z, who sits in front of K. But let's see if there is anything else. L sits on the corner side of the table. On the corner side means in first case there are 4 corners available. In second case there are 2 corners available. So we can't really do anything about it. L sits on the corner side of the table, who is not the immediate neighbor of M. Who is not the immediate neighbor of M. M's position has not been fixed yet. So that also will not be useful. Last point is neither J nor X is a neighbor of Y. And this is important. Neither J nor X is a neighbor of Y. Neither J nor X is a neighbor of Y. So J and X are not neighbors of Y. So which means Y cannot come here. because j is not a neighbor of y. Similarly, x is also not a neighbor of y, so y cannot come in these two positions. Here also neither j nor x are neighbors of y, right? So y cannot come here, y cannot come here, y cannot come in this position, and y cannot come in this position, right? Y is neither a neighbor of x nor neighbor of j. Neither j nor x is a neighbor of y. So 4 positions for y are ruled out. In both the cases, 4 positions for y are ruled out. 1, 2, 3, 4, y cannot come. 1, 2, 3, 4, y cannot come. Now out of the remaining 4, 2 are already blocked by j and x. So there are only 2 positions for y in both the cases. Y can either come here or here in case 1, and in case 2, y can either come here or here, right? But no point in marking y now. So let's use some other statement. Let's try to use this statement. M sits third to the right of z, who sits in front of k. M sits third to the right of z, who sits in front of k. Who is who here? The preceding person. So basically it says that z and k are opposite to each other, because z, see who refers to z, right? Z or z, whatever you call it. Who refers to z? Z sits in front of k. Z sits in front of k means what? Z and k are opposite to each other. They are opposite to each other. Either both of them are facing center or both of them are facing outwards, but they are definitely opposite to each other, right? Z sits in front of k. Z sits in front of k. And M sits third to the right of z. M sits third to the right of z. M sits third to the right of z. So try out. See, look at it. What are the possible positions of z? What are the possible positions of z? Z cannot come here. Starting from top, z cannot come here. This is already blocked by j, and z cannot come here, and z cannot come here. So the possible positions of z are 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if z comes here in this position, m would come here. No, m sits third to the right of z. Third to the right of z. So z is facing center. Right will be clockwise. First, second, third. M has to come here. But is that allowed? Not allowed. You're able to follow? Only focus on this part. M sits third to the right of z. M sits third to the right of z. Already z cannot come, or z cannot come in 4 positions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because these 2 positions are blocked, and in these 2 positions z is not allowed. So try out the other 4 positions. Like for example, let's say z comes here. In this case, z comes here. Assume that z comes here. So where will m come? M is third to the right of z. No, right of z. Third to the right of z. Z is facing center, right? So third to the right of z. 1, 2, 3. M has to come here. That's one possibility. Right? Z is here. M sits third to the right of z. So first, second, third, m comes here. Or what is the other possibility? So this is cross mark, by the way. This is not x. You understand? Don't understand it as x. X has already been marked anyway. So z and m, this is one pair. Let's say z1, m1. Z1, m1, right? Because there can be other possibilities. What is the other possibility? Let's assume z comes here, z2. Z2. Where should m come? M sits third to the right of z. Now here z is facing outwards. So right of z will be clockwise. First, second, third. M has to come here. But can m come here? M cannot come here because this is already blocked by j. So this position of z is ruled out. Yeah. Then where else can z come? Let's say z comes here in this position. Let's say this is z2. That z2 is ruled out. So this is z2. Now if z2 is this, where should m come? Third to the right of z. Outside, right? Outside means right of z will be anti-clockwise. Outside means right of z will be clockwise. First, second, third. Right? Right of z is anti-clockwise. M sits third to the right of z. First, second, third. M would come here. So this would become m2. What's the other possibility? z3. Let's say z comes here. z3. Third possibility for z. M is third to the right of z. Now z is facing center. Right should be anti-clockwise. Z is facing center. Right should be anti-clockwise. So what happens? First, second, third. M has to come here. But is m allowed in this position? M is not allowed in this position. Because see, m cannot come here. So clearly z cannot come here. So basically our conclusion from the first case is that these are the possible positions for m and z. You know, these 2 positions are for m and z. These 2 positions are for m and z. Yes or no? M2, Z2 is either the right case or M1, Z1 is the right case. But definitely these same positions are blocked for M and Z. So either it will be Z, M or MZ. So that also is done. You're able to follow Z, M or MZ. Yeah. What else is given here? Z sits in front of K. Z sits in front of K. So if Z is here, K would come here. If Z is here, K would go there. That's the point. So depending on the position of Z, we can mark the position of K. Now try the same thing, the same statement in second case. Try the same statement in second case, see what happens. Again, we will look for Z, positions for Z. So already two positions of Z are ruled out. Z cannot come in these two positions. And Z cannot come in these two positions as well because these are blocked by J and K. So try out the other four possibilities. Let's say Z comes here, Z1. Where will M come? Third to the right of Z. So Z is facing center, right of Z will be 1, 2, 3. M will come here. So Z1, M1, let's say. What's the other possibility? Let's say Z comes here, Z2. Where should M come? Third to the right of Z. Outside, right? So right will be clockwise. First, second, third. M has to come here. But can M come here? No. M cannot come here. So Z cannot come here. Right? Then Z cannot come here anyway. This is ruled out, this is ruled out, this is ruled out. Can Z come here? Yes. If Z comes here, Z2 let's say. Where will M come? Third to the right of Z. So center right, right is anti-clockwise. First, second, third. M has to come here. But that is not possible since J is already seated there. So the Z2 cannot come here. What's the other possibility? Z may come here. Z2 let's say. In that case, M sits third to the right of Z. Yes or no? If Z comes there, M sits third to the right of Z. So if M sits third to the right of Z, Z is facing outwards. Right should be clockwise. First, second, third, M has to come here. Z is facing outwards, right? So first, second or third, M has to come here. So this would be M2. So I think similar to the previous case, right? We have blocked the two positions for M and Z. But which exactly is the position of M in these two and Z in these two is not known. If this is Z, this would be M. If this is Z, then this would be M. So Z1, M1 or Z2, M2. You're able to follow. Okay, I know this is like looking to be lengthy solution, a complex one, but when you solve it yourself, you can do it really fast. I'm explaining it to you, so it is taking so much of time. Right? You have to do all this analysis very quickly when you're doing it in the exam. Right? And again, the next part of the statement is Z sits in front of K. So if Z comes here, K would come here. If Z comes here, K would come here. Okay. But I think one interesting observation that I have is, if you look at the next statement, it says L is on the corner side. L sits on the corner of the table. Not corner side, corner of the table. Yeah, L sits on the corner of the table. Yeah. L sits on the corner of the table. Now the point is L sits on the corner of the table and he's not the neighbor of M. So first of all, let's look at L sitting at the corner of the table. The point is, if Z comes here, K would go here. All the four corners are blocked. If Z comes here, yeah, I think if you observe in case 2, try to observe in case 2, Z2 is ruled out. Z2 is ruled out. Because if you take Z2 in this position, I mean, if you take Z in the position of Z2, we know that K should be opposite to Z. So if Z2 comes here, K has to come here. K has to come here. If Z comes here, K has to come here. The problem in taking this, I'll take it as K2. So Z and K, right? K has to come there. The problem here is if Z is here and K is here, all the four corners are blocked. J, X are on corners, Z and K are on corners. L also should sit on corner. So no corner is available for L, which means Z2 is wrong. Z2 cannot come, which means K2 is also wrong. So if Z2 is wrong, Z1 has to be correct. So now it is fixed. So if Z2 is wrong, M2 is also wrong. Yes or no? If Z2 is wrong, M2 is wrong. So clearly, now we can say that Z comes in this position and M comes in this position. You're able to follow. And if Z comes here, K has to come here because Z is in front of K. Z is in front of K. Right? So I think what I'll do is I'll clear all the mess now. I will just write what is relevant. I'm clearing off all this stuff because this was all verification. M will come in this position, Z would come in this position. This Z2 also is not required. Yeah. So M comes here on the corner and Z comes here. Let me mark that. M comes here and Z comes here. Alright. So I think largely done the case 2. In case 1 also, let's see if we can eliminate one of the possibilities. There are two possibilities for Z, right? So let's see if we can eliminate any one. So the point is, if Z1 is taken, K would come here. Corner is still available for L. If Z2 is taken, K would come here. Corners are still available for L. So here corners are available, so not a problem. L is in the corner of the table but not neighbor of M. So M is here, L cannot come here. If M is here, yeah. So nothing much can be done in case 1. There are like still a lot of unknown points with respect to case 1, but in case 2 I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things have been marked. So what we can do is, see, usually I say that you have to try every point in both the cases, all the possibilities, and see where you can eliminate, how you can eliminate one of those. So far I think both of them are correct, with case 2 getting more number of seats occupied. J, K, M, X, Z are occupied. Here only J and X are occupied, and M and Z are blocked for these 2 seats. So what we can do is, since there are only 3 seats left out here, we can try case 2 completely. If case 2 is full, if case 2 is complete with the remaining data, we can take that as a correct answer. Otherwise, we will have to eliminate case 2 and work on case 1. Whatever 2 cases are there, you have to consider both the cases. You're able to follow. We are at a stage now where case 2 has got 5 positions occupied and case 1 has got only 2 positions occupied, with other 2 positions giving 2 possibilities. So one approach is that you try to complete case 2 itself with the remaining data. If you are able to complete it, case 2 can be taken as a correct answer. We can forget about case 1. If you are unable to complete case 2, if case 2 gets eliminated, then definitely case 1 has to be correct. And in case 1, since there are 2 possibilities, we have to take both the possibilities separately and complete to find out which one is the final answer. So I'll try to complete case 2 now, right? J, M, K and X and Z are marked. Now, again look at it. Very interesting. You know that one of the, see, who all have come here in this circle, on this square table, J, K, M, X and Z. Y is left out. L, M, L and Y. L and Y are left out. Again, L also we know, L is at one of the corners, right? L sits on one of the corners. So definitely L has to come here because that's the only corner available. All the other corners are blocked. J, M, X are blocked. L sits on corner of the table. L sits on corner of the table. So L has to come here. So I think L also is gone. Now if you observe, we know that Y is to be, Y should come in one of the 2 positions. Either Y should come here or here. But already we have understood that Y cannot come in this position. And Y cannot come in this position as well. So overall, our understanding is Y cannot be accommodated on this table at all. Yes or no? There is no place for Y at all. There is no place for Y at all. So case 2 is wrong. Yes or no? Only 2 choices for Y. Both the choices are blocked. So Y cannot come here. And hence case 2 is wrong. So this is the wrong case. Now case 1 only is correct. But in case 1 we have a dilemma. Is it Z1 M1 or Z2 M2? So now we have to take both the possibilities and complete it. Yeah. So what you should do in the exam now is, since case 2 is eliminated very quickly, you duplicate case 1. Take Z1 M1 in one case and Z2 M2 in the other case. Then I'm sure it will be very easy after that. So what I'll do is, instead of duplicating it, I don't have enough space here, so I'll erase all this marking that we have done. Case 2 is eliminated already, you know why. So I'll retain the table, right? In fact, I would say this is case 3. So this is case 3 because case 2 got eliminated. Now in case 3, what I'll do is I'll first fix J here. See, this is already fixed and X is already fixed. Now let's take Z1 M1 in case 1 and Z2 M2 in case 2. So according to Z2 M2, Z has to come here, M has to come here, right? Z2 M2, you know, Z2 and M2. So if Z2 and M2 have been considered in the other case, we can consider Z1 and M1 here. So what I'll do now is clear and make it a little neat. So this is Z and this is M. So I think in case 1 and case 3 we have got 4 positions blocked now. J, X, M, Z. J, X, M and Z. Now let's fill the other positions. So J, X, M and Z are blocked. Now do the other things. What are the other points we know? Z is opposite to K, right? Z sits in front of K. Z sits in front of K. So Z is here, K has to come here. Here Z is here, so K has to come here, right? ZK and ZK opposite. So K is also fixed. Now L is on one of the corners, he said. L is on one of the corners. So here both the corners are available. Here 3 of the corners are available. So we don't know what can be done. Achha, I think I made a mistake. I have cleared all the Y markings here. Y cannot come somewhere, he said, right? See, all these y cannot come in this position, y cannot come in this position are all important. Acha, case 1 gets eliminated. Now if you observe, case 1 is eliminated. Why? Because of y. See, y has to be fixed. Y has to be fixed. What are the three positions available for y? Either this, but y cannot come here, so gone. Or this, but again y cannot come here also, so it's also gone. Or this for y, but y cannot come here, this also is gone. So there is no place available for y. So case 1 also is wrong. So definitely case 3 has to be the correct answer. Now where can y come? Try and find out. We know that neither j nor x is a neighbor of y. Neither j nor x is a neighbor of y. Last statement, you remember? Neither j nor x is a neighbor of y. So j cannot be a neighbor of y, hence y cannot come here. X cannot be a neighbor of y, so y cannot come here. So y has to come in this position only. Yes or no? J and x are not neighbors of y. Now only two persons are left out. Who are they? L and N. He says L is on the corner of the table and not the immediate neighbor of M. That's it, we are done. L is on the corner of the table but not the immediate neighbor of M. So can L come here? No. This is the corner but also the neighbor, right? L should not be a neighbor of M. L cannot come here. So L has to come here. Right? L is also done. Finally N is left out, N comes in this position. So this completes the arrangement. So if I have to start from the bottommost position and go in the clockwise direction, what is the order? X, N, M, K, J, L, Y, Z. That's the complete arrangement. Alright, I agree that explanation has taken a lot of time because I was giving a detailed explanation. When you do it yourself, right, a lot of these things can be cut down and you save a lot of time. Okay, so I know it's complex, it is lengthy, but not as lengthy as the amount of time that we have spent here. Okay, the final solution is here and now you can answer the 5 questions very easily. Whatever 5 questions have been given with this can be answered very, very easily. I hope all of you have followed. I could see that many of you had got the answer yourselves, which is great, but all others who were stuck, here's the solution. And this also looks to be a lengthy solution because we tried it 3 times. I mean, we had to stop it at least twice because of the technical glitches. So I apologize for that once again, but the final solution is on your screens now. Very clear takeaway now that the best way to solve such questions in the exam is not to solve. You never know how much time it will take, right? You can't be wasting your precious time in doing all this drama in the exam. First solve all the rest of the questions. After that, if time permits, come back, right? Don't attempt such questions immediately. All right, should we go for the next one now? Should I go for the next question? Ashish, yeah, that point is also correct. When he says Z is in front of K, ideally they should be facing opposite, face to face, which means they are facing center, but you never know. I mean, I have seen questions where they have actually said that Z is in front of K, but their backs are facing. That way you can eliminate possibilities. That's also one way of doing it. Okay, should we go for the next one now? Any confusions here? All right, I think all of you have followed. Let me quickly take the next question. Anjane says, please tell the answer. What answer, Baba? What question did you ask? I have given you the answer already, no? This arrangement itself is the answer. Okay, let's take something else now. Okay, the next question on your screens now. This is from blood relations. I'm sure you should be able to crack it. You have 1 minute for this and your time starts now. This was posted by Ramalakshmi S. A plus B means A is the sister of B, A minus B means A is the brother of B, A star B means A is the daughter of B. Which of the following shows the relation that E is the maternal uncle of D? E is the maternal uncle of D. Try this. Got it? None of these? Okay, so let's start. Here's the question. It says if A plus B means A is the sister of B, A minus B means A is the brother of B, and A star B means A is the daughter of B. So basically, symbol meaning of each of the symbols has been given to us. Plus means sister, minus is brother, and star means daughter. Now, which of the following shows the relation that E is the maternal uncle of D? E is the maternal uncle of D. E is the maternal uncle of D. Now, understand, we will not draw so what has been given in the options? Equations have been given in the options. The general process to solve the question is to draw a family tree for each of these equations. See which family tree shows you that E is the maternal uncle of D, and take that as the answer. But if you use it, use the family trees, you are going to take a lot of time. So use the SMART method. What is the SMART method? Gender and generation gap. Work on these two items and you will be able to eliminate the options easily. Right? Work on the gender and the generation gap. Like for example, in this case, he says E is the maternal uncle of D. E is the maternal uncle of D. E is the maternal uncle of D. What is the relationship? Maternal uncle. Now, what does it mean? Gender. E is the maternal uncle. Uncle. E is the uncle of D, which means E has to be a male person. Right? According to our notations, this is the symbol, right? So E is a male person. That's point number one. What should be the generation gap between E and D? The generation gap between E and D should be 1. Because E is the uncle of D, right? E should be 1 generation above D. So just work on these 2 points. That in which of the options do you find E's gender to be male and the generation gap between E and D to be 1? Only for those options draw the family tree and verify. If there is any option where E's gender is female or E's gender cannot be determined, that option can be eliminated directly. If there is any option there where the generation gap is anything other than 1, it can be eliminated directly. Right? So that's the technique. Now look at first option. D plus F. Plus means what? Sister. So D is female. F star E. Star means what? A is the daughter of A is the A star B means A is the daughter of B. So F star E means F is the daughter of E. But what is the gender of E? E's gender is not known to us. In option 1, E's gender is not known to us because E is the last person in this equation, right? So we will know F's gender with respect to F's gender with, we will know F's gender but not E's gender. And because E's gender is not known, we cannot conclude whether E is the maternal uncle or maternal aunt or whatever that relation is. So first option is eliminated. Similarly, in second option also you find F star E. E is at the end. E's gender cannot be determined. Hence it cannot be the answer. Third option also E is at the end, and F plus E means what? F is the sister of E. F is female, but what is E's gender? F is the sister of E, but is E the brother of E? E is the brother of F or sister of F is not known. Hence third option is also eliminated. Fourth option, again E is at the end. E's gender is not known to us. F minus E. Minus means what? F is the brother of E. F is the brother of E, but is E the brother of F or sister of F is not known. Fourth option is also eliminated. Since all the 4 options are eliminated, the answer has to be option 5, none of this. Now this is called SMART solution. What did we do? Did we solve the question? No. We did not find the right answer. What we have found here is option 1, option 2, option 3 and option 4 are wrong. And hence option 5 is the correct answer. So use the smart technique of gender and generation gap, which can help you eliminate the options easily. And if you are lucky, like in this case, 4 options get eliminated and you can directly mark the answer. Now I can see from the chat that all of you marked the answer as option 5. None of this. I think Nageshwar Rao and Gayatri marked option 2. Neeraj marked option 1. But all others had marked option E. Option 5, right? My question to you is, good, all of you have got the right answer. But how many of you have used the smart technique, what we have discussed here? And how many of you have done using family tree? Please clarify. Because getting the answer alone is not important. You should be able to get the answer as quickly as possible. So I'm glad that all of you got +1 for this question. But how many of you have used? How many of you have used the smart technique? Quick. Just comment smart or family tree. Your comment should either say smart or you should say family tree. So Bhavani has used family tree. Arun has used family tree. Divya used family tree. Sheikh Hazi has used family tree. Others have used smart method. Saket, Malbika Mohanty, Surya Prakash did it by family tree. Amit Kumar tried drawing the family tree. Harita has drawn the family tree. Waste of time. Compare the amount of time that you have spent with the amount of time that we have spent in solving this. In fact, this is more time because we were discussing it. We were not solving it. Yeah. Yeah. Done? -1 +1 in generation gap. I understand that. We have discussed this, right? I mean, question is asking about, question says E is the maternal uncle of D. So between from E to D, it's +1. But since the options are reversed, you should check for -1, which is correct. But based on gender itself, we are able to eliminate all the 4 options. Bhavani says, please give some tips for tomorrow's exam. Today's first 2 shifts were easier than next 2. Bhavani, don't depend on these shifts being easier or difficult. The only tip I have for you now is you should actually get out of the session, have a nice sleep, have some food, nice food, sleep and relax for your examination tomorrow. Don't prepare anything now. Okay, let me present the next question to you all before we close the session. We are already at 8:15. I know we have wasted a lot of time today in managing those technical glitches, but let's solve maybe 1 or 2 more questions. So the next question is on your screens now. This was posted by Apurva Rawat. I think this is a machine input output based question where only numbers have been given and there are 9 steps. Based on the same 9 steps, we have to do another input and answer the given questions. So I think that input and the questions have not been given to us, but all we can do is discuss the step-by-step process here. So I'll leave you with this for maybe 2-3 minutes. Try it out and then we will discuss the solution. Your time starts now. Done? Okay, I think some of you mentioned that this is only a mock question. I don't know if it is only a mock exam question, but your friend Apurva Rawat had posted it. Let's discuss the solution now. So here we go. So here's the question posted by Apurva Rawat. This is on input output, right? Machine input output, where only numbers have been given. So if you see the input, there are how many numbers? 6 numbers here: 63, 33, 45, 55, 11 and 29. And there is a step-by-step process from step 1 to step 9, where finally we are left with only one number. So we have to understand the logic in each step and decode the whole process. Then the same process can be applied for the given input in the question, and whatever 5 questions are asked, those questions can be answered. So let's just work on how is this whole process working out, right? So input has got 6 numbers: 63, 8, 33, 45, 55, 11 and 29. Step 1 has got 6 numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 numbers. So there's no reduction in the number of numbers, but 63 has become 18, 33 has become 9, 45 has become 20, 55 has become 25, 11 has become 1 and 29 has become 18. So what do you think is happening here? Well, very clearly 18 is 6 into 3. You understand? 6 into 3, 18. 3 into 3, 9. 4 into 5, 20. 5 into 5, 25. 1 into 1 is 1. 2 into 9 is 18. So that's step 1. Multiply the digits in the previous number to get the number in this case. Now, what is step 2? I think in step 2 we are taking, you see, the number of numbers in step 2 are only 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 numbers are there. In step 1 there were 6 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But in step 2 there are only 5 numbers. So what has happened here? I think we are taking the differences of the numbers. 18 difference 9 is 9. 9 difference 20 is 11, right? 9 minus 20 is 11. I mean 20 minus 9 is 11. 20 difference 25 is 5. 25 difference 1 is 24, and 1 difference 18 is 17. So forget about the sign, only take the magnitude. Then in step 3, very clearly it is a root digit. What we are doing here is a digital root. You know what is the digital root, right? Sum of the digits. So 9 is 9, 1 plus 1, 2, 5 is 5, 2 plus 4, 6, 1 plus 7, 8. What is happening in step 4? We have 5 numbers. I think in step 4 we are left with only 4 numbers. So some more operation is happening here. 11, 7, 11, 14. I think it is the sum, right? 9 plus 2 is 11. 2 plus 5 is 7. 5 plus 6 is 11 again. 6 plus 8 is 14. So that is the process. Step 3 to step 4. Right? Easy one. Then step 4 to step 5. What are we doing? I think digital root again, right? 1 plus 1, 2, 7 remains 7, 11 again it becomes 2, 1 plus 4 becomes 5. What is step 6? Differences. 2 difference 7, 7 difference 2, 2 difference 5. Step 8 I think is sum. 5 plus 5, 10. 5 difference, 5 plus 3, 8. Then digital root again. That's it. I think do the same thing for the given illustration, you get the answer. 1 difference 8 is 7. So that's how you arrive at the single digit 7 after these 8, 9 steps. Okay. So apply the same process, whatever we have done here, for the given input. One more input will be given to you with 5, 6 numbers. You have to do the same thing and find out what is the final answer. Alright. So an easy one in my view. You should understand the operations being done in each of the cases. Right. Let's take up the next question. I think my team has just told me that they've got a question from today's RRB paper, right? There was one circular arrangement that was asked in the IBPS RRB exam today, IBPS RRB Officer Scale 1 exam today, and they seem to have got this question from one of the students in some discussion forum. So that question has been brought up here. What I will do is present that question. Let's see if you are able to solve what was asked today in the exam. Okay, so should we take that up? It is being told that this is from IBPS RRB exam today. I don't know whether it is really the case or not. All those who have attempted the exam maybe can confirm whether this question was asked to them or not. Anjane Upadhyay says, what is the answer here? Anjane, the answer is not there. I mean, what we have discussed is the process. Now, what usually is done in these questions is, as another new input will be given to you in the actual question, you have to do the same step-by-step process and then answer whatever 3 or 4 questions that they ask on that. Ashish says, take the box arrangement. Well, box arrangement I don't have. I don't think anybody has posted the box arrangement. Yeah, so let me present the circular arrangement that was asked in today's IBPS RRB exam, which is on your screens now. Even I have not tried it. I will be trying it out with you guys, or I'll ask you to try it out first and then we all will try it out together. So M, N, O, P, Q, R, S and T are sitting around a circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 persons sitting around a circle. Some of the persons are facing the center and some are facing outside. O sits second to the right of R, R is facing towards the center and blah 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 blah. So take 5 minutes. Let's see how many of you get the answer. You have got 5 minutes for this and your time starts now. Yeah, we will take the box puzzle also. If not, I mean, I don't think in today's session, but definitely in our next session. Let me collect that first. Try it out, then we will take it up together. Done? Gayatri has done it already. Good. Waiting for others to respond. Done? Okay, Chandran Neeraj has asked to wait maybe 30 more seconds. Let's see if more people can join in the league of those who have got the answer. Done? All right. I think many of you have done now, and I've given you enough time. So let's discuss the solution now. Here we go. So the question says M, N, O, P, Q, R, S and T are sitting around a circle. Some of the persons are facing the center and some are facing outside. So basically the count is 8. There are total 8 persons sitting around a circle. Some of them are facing center and some are facing outside. Okay. Now O sits second to the right of R. R is facing towards the center. There are 2 persons in between O and N. S sits second to the right of O, and so on. So I think a lot of clues have been given here. Let's start with the arrangement. So circular table, 8 positions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember, not all of them are facing center, not all of them are facing outwards. Some face center, others face outwards. And the rule remains the same. For whichever person who faces center, left is clockwise, right is anti-clockwise. For a person who faces outwards, left would be anti-clockwise and right would be clockwise. Okay. Now read the first point. O sits second to the right of R. Now O sits second to the right of R cannot be used until you know the direction of R. Is R facing center or R facing outwards? But immediately in the next statement you find that R is facing towards the center. R is facing towards the center. So very clear that R is facing towards the center. So let's assume R is in this position. And now O sits second to the right of R. Second to the right of R. Right of R will be anti-clockwise because R is facing center. So O is second to the right of R. First and second. O comes here. Again, whether O is facing center or outwards is not known. But O definitely is in this position. Next point. There are 2 persons in between O and N. There are 2 persons in between O and N. Now there are 2 persons in between O and N. And there are 2 possibilities. Like 1, 2, N may come here, or 1, 2, N may come here. Right? There are 2 possible positions of N, right? 2 persons between O and N. So these 2 can be between O and N, or these 2 can be between O and N. So if required, we'll duplicate and take the 2 positions of N in 2 different cases. But let's just move forward for now. See if there is anything else. S sits second to the right of O. S sits second to the right of O. See, right of O is not known to us. It depends whether O is facing center or outwards. However, if you see, suppose S face outwards. Assume that assume that O is facing outwards. See, S sits second to the right of O. Now the position of S would depend on which direction does O face. If O is facing center, right should be anti-clockwise. So first and second S would come here. But if O is facing outwards, right should be clockwise. So first and second S has to come here. But however, this position is already blocked by R. So S cannot come here. You're able to follow. If you say O is facing outwards, assume for a moment, assume O is facing outwards. If O is facing outwards, S sits second to the right of O. So S is second to the right of O. Check. Outwards, right will be clockwise. First and second, S has to come here. Is that possible? Not possible. Which means O is not facing outwards. O is facing inwards. O is facing center. If O is facing center, and we know that S sits second to the right of O, where will S come? First and second. S will come here. Because for a center facing person, right is in the anti-clockwise direction. So first and second, S goes there. Next, T sits on the immediate right of N. T sits on the immediate right of N. Now since this point is dependent on N, I think we'll have to duplicate the case, right? But one thing is very clear, whether N comes here or N comes here, immediate right of N will be this only. Yeah, this position. T has to come here. You're able to follow? Because if N is here, immediate position available for N is this. If N is here, immediate position available for N, immediate position after N, I mean next to N is this. Yeah. But anyway, since he says right of N, whether N is facing center or outwards would depend on which position you take here. So what I'll do is duplicate. Let me duplicate. So O is fixed here, S is fixed here, R is fixed here. Yeah. Now let me assume that N is in this position in case 1 and N is in this position in case 2. Alright. Now read the point. T sits on the immediate right of N. T sits on the immediate right of N. Now immediate right of N. See, immediate right of N means T has to come here. See, we don't know which is the right of N, but the only position available immediately next to N is this side, because this side is blocked by R. Similarly, in the other case, the only position which is available next to N is this side. Immediately next to N is this side. So T has to come here. because that side is blocked by S. Now if you reread the statement, it said T sits on the immediate right of N. According to case 1, right of N has come out to be clockwise. That can happen only when N is facing outwards. According to case 2, right of N has come out to be anti-clockwise. That can happen only when N is facing center. Yes or no? So in case 1 we have got that N is facing outwards. In case 2 we have got N is facing the center. Right? I hope all of you have understood this. Right of N. Here the right of N came out to be clockwise, which means N is facing outwards. Here the right of N came out to be anti-clockwise, which means N is facing center. Yeah? Next point. S and N are facing opposite direction. S and N are facing opposite direction. S and N are facing opposite direction, which means if S is facing center, N faces outside and vice versa. Now N is facing outwards, which means S should face inwards. N is facing outwards here, S should face inwards. But in the other case, N is facing inwards, so S should face outwards. S and N should be opposite. So S and N you see are opposite. Inwards, outwards. Inwards, outwards. Yeah? So this point is also done. There are 3 persons between P and Q. There are 3 persons between P and Q. Now if you observe, only 3 positions have been left out. Let me clear all the unnecessary stuff. This is T. Now we have already marked NORST. NORST have been marked in both the cases. What is left? Who are left out? M, P and Q. He says there are 3 persons between P and Q. There are 3 persons between P and Q. So if you look at case 1, the only way of putting P and Q are in these positions. If P and, I mean, see, when we in a 8-person arrangement, when there are 8 persons sitting on a circular table or a square table, and you say that there are 3 persons between any 2 persons, those 2 persons have to be opposite. So P and Q have to be opposite. Very clearly P and Q have to be opposite. So this side 3 persons, this side also 3 persons. So P and Q will be blocked in these 2 positions. If P and Q have blocked these 2 positions, M has to come here. There is no other choice. Similarly in case 2, we know that P and Q have to be opposite. So P and Q will be blocking these 2 positions. So 3 persons this side and 3 persons that side. Right? There are 3 persons between P and Q. If P and Q have blocked these 2 positions, M has to come here. There is no other choice. Right? Next, both P and M are not immediate neighbors of R. Both P and M are not immediate neighbors of R. Now look at it. He says P and M should not be immediate neighbor of R. Here M has already become an immediate neighbor of R. So this is wrong. M has already become an immediate neighbor of R. So this is wrong because M should not be an immediate neighbor of R. M is not an immediate neighbor of R. And P also should not be an immediate neighbor of R, which means P cannot come in this position because P should not be a neighbor of R. So P has to come here. And if P goes there, then Q has to come here. Then that's the arrangement. R, N, T, P, S, M, O, Q. But still the inwards or outwards have to be completed. So let's check that. Q sits second to the right of M. Q sits second to the right of M. Now see, right of M is coming out to be clockwise. First and second. You see Q sits second to the right of M, right? First and second. Q is second to the right of M in the clockwise direction. If right is clockwise, means the person is facing outwards. So M is facing outwards. Both T and Q faces opposite direction of O. Both T and Q faces opposite direction of O. T and Q opposite direction of O. Meaning O is facing center. If O is facing center, T and Q should face outwards. So T faces outwards, Q also faces outwards. Yes or no? Both T and Q are opposite of O. So O is facing center, T and Q will be facing outwards. Both the immediate persons of S are facing same direction. Both the immediate persons of S are facing same direction. Immediate persons of S should face same direction. So immediate persons of S are what? Immediate neighbors of S are P and M. If M is facing outwards, P is also facing outwards. Done. The arrangement is done. Now you can answer the 5 questions very easily. Yeah. So this was the question asked in your IBPS RRB Officer Scale 1 exam today on 9th of September according to some of the students. We have got this through one of the WhatsApp forums that we have, right? And I think a very simple question. 5 marks in about 3 minutes. Because I was explaining it to you, it has taken so much of time, right? When you do it yourself, you'll do it faster, right? So I think easy question. 5 marks can be bagged in 3 minutes. This is something that you must try out in the exam, definitely. Of course, not immediately as soon as you see it. Solve the other questions first, and if time permits, come back to such arrangements and puzzles. Okay. Clear? I think 8:35 already, we can close it now, right? Should we close the session? Or let's take one. Yeah, by the way, did you guys really get this question or not? I can see Surya Prakash saying that I got stuck in the exam. But see, Surya Prakash, it's easy. Yeah, Ashish also says I too got stuck in the exam. So you are able to solve it now, right? But otherwise you were stuck. Bad. Yeah, Surya Prakash has mentioned that I failed to solve it in the exam, and here also I'm not able to solve it, not fit for competition. I would partially agree with you, Surya Prakash. You are not fit for the competition if you're not able to solve this one. But it also depends on when have you started your preparation. If it is recently that you have started preparing, then practicing a little more will improve your chances, right? Okay, so let's take one last question before we close the session today, and I'm extending it, like we are already extended the session by 35 minutes. I'm extending it by another 5 minutes just because I'm trying to compensate for the technical glitches that we had, and we will see to it that we solve more and more questions from the next session onwards. So one last question for the day, and it is on your screens now. This was posted by Gaurav Thik. Gaurav Thik has posted this question on statements and conclusions, syllogisms. So I'll leave it with you for 1 minute. Let us see how many of you get the right answer. Answers have started coming in. Nilab and Deepak says only one follows. Surya Prakash says only two follows. Divya says none follows. Arpita has got only two. So confusion, only one follows is there, only two follows is there, none follows also there. What's happening? Okay, so the time is up. Let's discuss the solution now. Here we go. The question was posted by Gaurav Thik, and this is on syllogisms, as you all can see. Two statements and two conclusions. What are the statements? All doors are windows. No clip is a window. So draw the basic diagram. Don't write basic diagram in your exam, okay? I mean, don't write these two words. Don't waste your time. Now don't ask me why am I wasting my time then, because I have to explain it to you. All doors are windows. All doors are windows. No clip is a window. No clip is a window. That's a basic diagram. All the doors are windows. So all the doors are inside windows. And no clip is a window. So clips and windows will not overlap each other. So that's the reason we have put this cross marks, right? Now, conclusion number one. Some clips, if they are doors, they're also window. Some clips, if they are doors, they're also window. Well, some clips, if they are doors, they're also window. No, I think very clearly in the statement he has mentioned that no clip is a window. So forget about this if clause, right? If they are doors, clips cannot be doors in the first place. As per the basic diagram, clips cannot be doors. He says some clips, whatever condition, are also window. Is it possible? Clips being windows is possible? No. Very clearly the data says no clip is a window. Statement says no clip is a window. So some clips, whether they are doors or not doors, can never be windows. Clips can never be windows because no clip is a window. No clip is a window. So some clips are windows is wrong. First conclusion does not follow. Right? First conclusion does not follow. Second one, all clips which are not windows are also doors. All clips which are not windows are also doors. No, so forget about this. All clips which are not windows. So in the current basic diagram, all the clips which are not doors, which are not windows, are these clips. I mean, if you understand, let me highlight this. We are referring to this yellow shaded part of the statement. All clips which are not windows. All clips which are not windows. What are the clips which are not windows? All these clips are not windows. Now he says, I mean, read it as yellow now. Yellow are also doors. Yellow are also doors. Is it true? No, yellows are not doors. You understand? I have highlighted some part of the statement in yellow. The same yellow highlight has been done in the diagram. So this is the text highlight, this is a diagram highlight. According to text, yellow are also doors. Is it true in the diagram? Yellow are also doors? No. Yellows and doors cannot overlap at all. So second one also is wrong. Yeah? So the answer should be none follows. On that note, we come to the end of this session. Thank you so much for joining us. I really apologize for that inconvenience caused during the session today, and we will make sure that we don't face such glitches in future if it is under our control, definitely, right? And like I said, exams are lined up. Many of you will have your IBPS RRB exam tomorrow, Officer Scale 1 exam tomorrow, and IBPS RRB Office Assistants exam the next weekend. So very crucial time, I'm sure, and the only advice that I would give now is that, you know, start relaxing a little bit. While preparation is really important, you must have prepared very well all these days, but now you should relax and try to keep yourselves confident and composed for the examination. All right, so all the best to all those who have your exam tomorrow, and all the best to all of you who have your exam next weekend for office assistants. I'm sure you'll do well and come back to us for the next round of preparation, which is the RRB main examination. Right? Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you again in the next session next weekend, and like I said, very soon we'll be publishing our calendar for IBPS PO refresher and SSC CGL refresher, maybe by Monday evening. So refer to that and join us for those extra live sessions that we will do for your exam preparation. Thank you so much.